as fiery at first, and then she found it. And I can't say enough about how hard that is to do when you're tired. And she just won Player of the Week for a reason. She's been working her butt off. This whole team has. But I can't say enough about Sab's willingness and ability to rise to the moment, because they were on a run. I think they cut it to 2, and then in came Sab and hit a 3 and got an and 1 and just totally quelled their run. And she easily could have, fallen by the wayside in this game after starting slow. And, they really did a good job pressuring her. And I think it's, just having that burst after all the work coming off of, not really doing anything for such a long time. It was a really, really gritty performance by Sabrina. It was, and she had 9 rebounds to go with it. So, as I've said before, and as I will say a lot, we're very lucky to have her.
Thanks so much.
Doug Feinberg.
Hey, Walt, I mean, it's not fair to compare last year and this year because you have basically a whole new team with Tasha and Sabrina and Betnijah, to name 3 of them. But just this group winning back-to-back games in gritty fashion, as you said, I mean, what does that say about the growth of this franchise in the last year to this year, so to speak?
Yeah, I just think this group is really tough and really resilient. And we talked about that in the preseason, right? When you guys would ask us, even when we were making our moves, what appealed to us about, a Sami or a Betnijah or a Tosh. And it was that grittiness. It was that toughness. It was that will. And then you add in, we get Sabrina back, and we add a couple of great rookies that are tough as nails. And, we bring back some second-year players and Kia Stokes, who I thought was fantastic today, coming off cold and stepping in for a really tired Kylie Shook. And Kia came in and held it down for us, and talked a lot about her in the post game. But I think more than anything, it speaks to our depth. Jazz really stepped up. Didi really stepped up, changed the energy of the game. I thought they really fired the whole team up with their play on both ends. And Didi had 5 assists, and the way she impacts a game is going to be unpredictable. And Jazz is kind of the same way. They're going to find a way, though. They're going to find a way. And I thought tonight, those 2 really sparked us. And I think without their energy, from a tired starting group, I think, this could have gone another way. So really, I can't say enough about the whole group.
Thanks, Walt.
Thank you.
Sarah Valenzuela.
Coach, I was wondering if you had any update on Natasha Howard. What was her initial diagnosis, and is this looking like something that's going to impact her coming into the next game on Saturday?
We don't know anything right now. I know we're gonna get some tests done tomorrow, and obviously we have our fingers crossed. We already lost one of our best, so that would obviously be devastating. But as of now, we got nothing.
Howard Migdal.
Thanks, Walt. Congrats on the win. I got 2 for you if I could. First is just late in this game to see Betnijah not just scoring for you, but being so eager to take those shots, assuming that role. I'm hoping you could speak to what it means for this team to have somebody like that. Obviously, you got Sab, but seeing Laney take on that leadership role so early.
Yeah, she really did it from training camp, and she doesn't do it in a way that's overbearing, or like she does it for attention, or she does it because it really comes off as somebody who's seeing what the best way to win is. As we know, Sabrina's the same way. Sami, really everyone on this team is that way. They don't do things selfishly. And so Betnijah taking over the time she takes over is because I think she's doing the math on the court, and she's seeing what the best outcome, will likely be. And some of the time that's just her going to work. Her efficiency is off the charts. for somebody, and it's not like she takes a bunch of easy shots. I mean, she takes those long pull-up twos, and she's hitting her threes, and she gets to the rim. She gets the free throw line 9 times tonight. In addition, playing phenomenal defense against Enrique, just phenomenal defense. So yeah, Betnijah's leading us in so many ways.
And just in terms of efficiency, Didi obviously came in when you got her as somebody who could defend, who could find teammates on the court. It wasn't just that she made her threes, or made a three tonight, but in both of these instances, she's looking where the 3-point line is. She's making sure that the shot she's taking is not a long two. I wonder if you could just take me through what you've done in terms of working with her for that to be an area of focus and how successful it's been so far.
Yeah, I probably don't talk enough. In fact, I don't talk enough about the job that our assistant coaches have done. I think about it every day. I actually think the words, my assistants carry me. I think it every single day. And Dustin Gray has been working with Didi every single day on her shot. I mean, if you were to go and look at her college shot, which Howard, you know well, and look at it now in just a few weeks, one, it speaks to Didi, I think primarily more than anything. It speaks to Didi's capacity to learn, because I've had my hand in a few shot reformations, and it takes a lot of time for Didi to come in and knock down a three, you know, when she was hesitant to shoot at all from anywhere. At times at Baylor, you know, that's I think a testament to her belief in herself, her ability to apply the things she's taught. And then I think additionally, it's a testament to the assistant coaches.
Thanks, Walt. Appreciate it.
Jackie Powell.
Hey, Walt. Congratulations on the win. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about Beck Allen in, the two halves. I mean, you pulled her aside in the second quarter after she fouled a couple of times. You conferenced with her, and then you guys get back into the second half, and she looked a bit different. So what did you make of how she was able to adjust?
I think a lot of times players like Beck or like Sami, a lot of their worth throughout their careers has been really heavily weighed toward their shooting. And it's understandable because they're such good shooters. But in both cases, you can see their value extends so much further than their capacity to shoot the ball. And so talking to Beck, it's going to be, and to some extent, Sami still, it's really, really important that they understand how much value they have outside of their shooting. And it's going to take reminders. It's something that, is kind of beaten into your head as somebody who specializes in shooting. Beck put the ball on the floor, got to the rim a few times. She deflected again, I don't know, 10 different passes and shots. She's getting steals. She's getting blocks. She's disruptive defensively. She flies in on the rebounds. I mean, Beck is doing so many good things. And the whole point of the conference was, Beck, go shoot 8 more. I don't care. Go 0 for 8. You're doing so many good things. Just stay out there and don't let that affect you and get you frustrated. And I thought that her second foul before we pulled her was a frustration foul, strictly based on her not making the shots that she knows she's capable of making. And as we all know, with writer's block or any kind of a slump or a drought, it's definitely something that, it's more mental than anything. And you just kind of got to get out of your own way. And she will. I have no concerns with Beck.
Right. And I wanted to ask a little bit similarly about Natasha. I mean, before she got hurt, she was turning the ball over a little bit in the first half. But again, she gets to the second half and it seemed like things were clicking a little bit more for her.
I mean, Tosh had 17, 6 and 3, 2 of 2 from 3, and she got to the line 6 times in 20 minutes, not knowing our offense, not knowing where to go and what to do. We've walked her through plays and stuff, but she needs time. Everybody else had a training camp. She's so impactful. She's so impactful. And I know our players really trust her cutting through the lane. They trust her ability to catch the ball. They can gun passes at her that maybe we wouldn't throw to other players, to most players, because Tosh is pretty special in her ability to catch and finish those things. So her impact has been huge. And obviously it goes without saying that when she really gets comfortable and knows what we're trying to do and learns her teammates, it's going to be scary.
Thanks so much, Coach. Congrats on the win.
Thank you.
Bruce Beck.
Well, what does it mean to shoot 47% from the field, 40% from three, 82% from the line against a good team with a lot of your players contributing?
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. Our offensive efficiency has been really fun to watch. It's been really fun to watch. Obviously, the turnovers, we had 12 in the first half, and something I wrote up on the board for the team was before the game was to understand they had 22 turnovers last game. If we shoot, which we're going to be around the same numbers now, going into the game, we were about 45% from the field, 45% from three. So when you think about just cut 10 of those turnovers out of the 22, that's 10 more shots on goal. You figure 2 or 3 of them are going to be threes. We're going to make about half of them. It's the difference of 10 to 20 points when you factor in that we're so efficient offensively and that the other team's efficiency goes through the roof on points off of turnovers. So the emphasis is huge. It's continuous. And I was really proud of the way the team bounced back from a 12 turnover first half and having 3 turnovers in the second half. That was big time because Dallas they play fast, they're athletic, they're aggressive. They can really disrupt you. And so, yeah, the efficiency has really carried us thus far throughout the season. As we get people on board and understanding our concepts a little bit better, I think we can maintain a similar level of efficiency and hopefully kind of shore up the other areas, being turnovers, fouls, late rotations, stuff like that.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Jonathan Lehman.
Hey, Coach. Did you ever think you'd be sitting here a week and a half into the season at 5-1? And if you did think that, when did you realize that this team had that kind of potential?
This is a cop-out answer, and I'm sorry, but I really didn't think of the record. It's hard for me to answer because I really do just think about what do we have to do today to get better. And I think about that every day. And what do I have to do to get better? And how can I help people be better? So I didn't know we'd be 5-1. I didn't know what we'd be. I just knew I wanted us to play really hard and to learn how to execute and play together. And the 5-1, I think, was a byproduct of this group and their buy-in to everything that we're asking of them. It's just been remarkable. I mean, to see an entire group of people buy into everything we're saying is it really just speaks to their toughness and their willingness to give of themselves to one another, to the staff, to the fans. It's been a really special group so far. I've been excited to coach them.
Thanks.
Great. Thank you, Coach. Next up, we have Sami Whitcomb. Jeff Magliotti.
Thank you, Sammy. Thank you for joining us today. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Thank you. Thank you. I was just wanting to know, what are your thoughts about the conditioning of this team, and how has it helped you guys get off to a 5-1 start in just 11 days, especially in this stretch where you had to play 3 and 4 in 3 different cities?
I think it probably speaks more to our depth. We don't have, obviously some games, certain players, have played more minutes, heavier minutes, but, typically everyone gets in and we have a really deep bench and they come in and give us a huge, huge boost. And sometimes, you'll see bench players playing more minutes than starters. And I think it's a tribute to that. Yes, we're also, I think, physically fit and we're ready to go, obviously, but I think a lot of that as well is just the spread of minutes and the spread of the load. Everyone's carrying their share, and that's really helping us, I think.
How can you best utilize these 4 days off?
Obviously rest, treatment, getting sleep, making sure we're refueling, looking after our bodies. And I think as well mentally, the mental aspect of it, that was a really tough stretch for us. So making sure that we really look after ourselves in that way, just kind of take that break for a second and then come back recharged and ready to go.
Appreciate your time. Congrats.
Thank you.
Doug Feinberg.
Hey, Sammy, I'm curious. This team last year was very different pieces. Have a struggling year in the bubble. They were 2-20, and they were the bottom of the league. Obviously, brought you in, Tosh, Betnijah, Sabrina's actually healthy again. Obviously, just my question is, what have you guys brought to sort of change the culture as a group to get this to be a winning franchise right now, to be 5-1 at this point in the season and survive the 3 games in 4 days, so to speak?
Probably, just our experience, I think. Obviously, leadership comes with that, but I think our experiences as, vets of this league, and obviously the experiences I think Tosh and I in particular maybe bring from winning in Seattle. I think, we know what it takes. We know that it does take winning ugly in games like this, when it's physical, when it's a back-to-back and you're exhausted. It takes that team effort. So I think, there's things like that we bring. Betnijah, she's been incredible, the things that she's been able to, I think, just really put in people's minds about, again, what it takes to compete and every possession, not taking plays off. Teams will go on runs, but we got to stay poised, just things like that. B's a really poised player. She sees the ball and the court, really well. And I think people feed off of that. Her confidence, she's really confident, obviously, all of those things. And then I think Sab, she's just a special player. So I think she really instills a lot of confidence and, again, a lot of poise into us, even though this is really her rookie year. So I think it's all of those things coming together, but we all just have, I think, a really good feel for each other, and we're all committed to the same thing. So as much as, we might, as some of those players, have that experience and that veteran leadership, there's buy-in from everyone. And that's the biggest thing for sure.
Jackie Powell.
Hey, Sammy, good to talk to you. Congrats on the win. I want to know if you can talk a little bit about how Beck and Natasha are still getting used to the system, but they're working through the kinks and they're still sort of finding ways to contribute. What are you seeing from the two of them as they're adjusting?
Yeah, I think they've been invaluable. Obviously, we know what they can do in terms of scoring and all of those things. And I think once they're more comfortable within the offenses, once we find them sort of in their rhythm and flow a bit more as well, I think that will be that will help them, I think, to get that feel and flow. But at the moment, defensively, they've been so good. They're so versatile as well. We can use them in so many different ways. So I think, defense has been our DNA, and the tips that Beck gets, the deflections, the fact that she can switch onto a big or a guard is really, really huge. They're just smart basketball players, and they work really hard. And again, they're trying to just do whatever they can out there. So if shots aren't falling, one game, they're making it up by getting rebounds, by getting stops, by doing all of those things. And it's that kind of ability to impact a game, even if you're not scoring, that's really, really valuable, I think, to this group.
Brilliant. I also wanted to ask you a bit about Dee Richards, and that, we've talked a lot about the gritty basketball that you all wanted to bring back to New York. So I want to know exactly what you think you see in Dee and sort of her relationship to the gritty basketball that you guys are, trying to bring back and have brought back.
Dee's special. She comes in 1 minute, 2 minutes, 10 minutes, and she's getting deflection. She's getting steal. She's making plays, period. She's making things happen out there. She's on the court when she's on the court, and it's both defensively and offensively. I feel like she comes on and things happen, and in a good way for us. So it's exciting to have that kind of up our sleeve that we can use whenever we sort of need it. I thought today her and Jazz were so amazing for us, coming off the bench and sparking us and carrying us, really. And it was great to see them rewarded by, Dee got that 3, things like that. It's really exciting. She's always the one hyping us up on the bench, but to see her then come in and be ready to impact the game still is huge. And it's what makes this team special.
Yeah, she's getting to trust fall, and then she takes a 3. Thanks so much, Sammy.
Thanks.
Howard McGo.
Hey, Sammy, great to chat with you as always. Wanted to just ask you, as an accomplished shooter in this league, You obviously know what it takes to get the open shots, to get the opportunities, and to knock them down. That's something this team is doing at what would be a record pace. I think you guys were at 39.4% last year in Seattle. You were 44 plus coming into tonight here in New York. Is that the true talent level of this team? When you see people up and down the roster, we saw Didi hit one tonight. Is this a team capable of shooting as well as it has so far all season long?
Yeah, I think it is. And I think part of that is the shot selection, the shots we create for each other. We know when they're coming. When we are attacking and when we're aggressive and when we're executing, we're getting, the reason we're shooting that percentage is because they're good shots. They're good open looks for good shooters. And we have a lot of really good shooters on this team who are capable of shooting at that percentage when they're open. Sab creates a lot of, draws a lot of attention and creates a lot of open looks for people. B is the same. Like that, I think, speaks more to our efficiency on offense and us taking good looks. If we're not shooting a good percentage that game, it's probably more because we're not getting good looks. We're doing something differently offensively.
Thanks, Sam. We appreciate it.
Thanks.
Miles Ehrlich.
Hey, Sammy. Great game tonight. I wanted to follow up on what Jackie was asking you a little bit earlier and talk about Jazz Jones a little bit, and just how important her energy is. And we're seeing it in pregame too with the lineup and everything. And she's the last one that kind of hypes you up. And then just to see her get out there and really look for her shot a little bit more today. Just how much does her energy at all times mean for you guys as a club?
Yeah, it's huge. And honestly, tonight you see its impact maybe more than other games, but it's always big for us. She's always picking us up. She's always creating the energy for us on the bench. And then it's tremendous in games like this when she can come in. When we're not really flowing, we're a little bit flat, we're a little bit tired, and she comes in and just injects that energy for us. And not just by, being loud and cheering for us like she does on the side, but like, playing great defense, getting stops, knocking down shots, being aggressive offensively and looking for herself. That's really, really important. It's what great teams need. We need everybody. We need everyone to step up like that, to be ready to step up when we need them. And that's been, I think, a big part of why we're 5-1 now. And credit to Jazz, she stays ready.
Great. Thanks so much. Great game tonight.
Thanks, Miles.
Cortland Griffin.
Hey, Sammy, this is Cortland Griffin with a three-point conversion. There was a stretch at the end of the first half where you guys went on an 8-0 run to end it. And then after Didi got that steal and jump ball, you guys went on another stretch where you hit some big shots. How does that translate to you guys, or how does that describe you guys' attitude as a team?
Yeah, I think we've been really tough and gritty and just, we've been able to withstand other teams' runs, which is really hard sometimes. Teams, it's obviously a game of runs. We talk about that. We want to go on runs, and then we want to obviously withstand if a team fights back. And I thought we did a really good job of that this game. They, every time we kind of pulled away, they were right there fighting back, hitting threes, whatever it was, knocking down shots. So for us to go on those runs, particularly when we're tired or when we're, when things weren't really going well for us, we stayed really tough, I thought, and we made things happen. And that was really, really critical for us, because there were stages where, they had their runs. And if we weren't able to withstand that and fight back, it could have, like, we shouldn't have been tied at half. We got down by whatever we got down, but we did a really good job in those final 2 minutes of getting stops and making some baskets and going on that run. And that was huge for us.
And Coach Walt, before the game, talked about, you guys coming out and punching people in the mouth philosophically and not getting punched first. And I think you guys did that well in the second half. Can you speak on that?
Yeah, that was really big for us. Obviously, we had a lot of momentum. We felt like finishing that first half, and we wanted to make sure that we, punched first, basically. And we needed to be aggressive. We needed to set the tone that half, and we needed to really just make them feel us a little bit more and be a bit more aggressive. And I thought we did that. And that, I think, set the tone and carried us for most of that second half. And I think it was a big part of why we were able to get a little bit of a lead.
Thank you, Sammy, and enjoy your 4-day rest.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sammy. Next up, we have Betnijah Laney. Please raise your hands if you have questions. Doug Feinberg.
Hey, Betnijah, I'm curious, when you decided to come to New York this year, did you see something in this team you thought, wow, this team could be pretty good if we get the right pieces together to, obviously you're off to this great start, yourself and the team?
Yeah, definitely. Like I said before, I really don't believe that the win column really depicted, what this team was capable of last year, and especially with Sabrina going down, as early as she did in those first 3 games. And then the free agents that we were talking to, I just really thought that it would be something special. I really liked the fight and everything that I saw within New York last year, and I just feel like it's home.
Bruce Beck.
Betnijah, congratulations. Another strong offensive game. Do you think about your productivity offensively, or do you just think about doing the best you can? You think about the team winning? Like, what's your mindset?
I mean, it's always, the win first for me. Obviously, I'm a part of the scoring threat, but it's not, I don't ever go out and say, okay, I need to get this amount of points, I need to score, I need to do this. It's just, I try and get it within the flow of the game and do what my team asks of me. So, that's what it is for me. It's not about how many points I score or me scoring at all. As long as we have a win at the end of the game, that's what matters to me.
Thank you.
Sarah Valenzuela.
Hey, Betnijah. In the third quarter, you guys came out of a huddle and you and Jazz both walked back onto the court and stared directly up at the scoreboard. What was going through your head at that moment? Was it exhaustion, or was it more like, okay, how can we pull ahead?
Just, trying to figure out what the score was at that time, how much time was on the clock, and just making sure, that we're closing it out. And that's what we talked about, in the huddles at the end, just making sure that we're closing it out, that we, take care of business and come out with the win at the end.
One more really quick follow-up question. Coming off such a tough stretch of games so close together, how much of a battle was it for you to grind this one out?
It was a battle. It definitely was tough, having these 6 games in 11 days and with travel, everything back to back, it definitely was tough. And so it means that much more. I think it really shows what we're capable of as a team, that we have a lot of fight within us. So I'm just really proud of us and, the way we performed, down this stretch.
Thank you.
Jackie Powell.
Hey, Betnijah, congratulations on the win. I wanted to know what the plan was defensively and what you all wanted to take away, and how successful did you think you were at executing that?
It wasn't one thing in particular. It was just, a bunch of things, trying to limit their threes, stop them in transition, just be a full team effort. Limit their points in the paint and everything. So I think that we executed for the most part, what our defensive plan was, and that's why we got the win.
And also, so, during after the buzzer beat, you were interviewed by Yes, and every time you said something, the crowd roared, and they seemed to just connect with you and just love you. And this has been a fan base that has, they didn't really know this organization for a couple of years because there's been a lot going on, a lot of shuffling. So what I want to know from you is, there's a limited amount of fans. How does that make you feel to know that you're connecting with these people? Although you can't really, talk to them because of COVID yet, but the fact that they're responding to you and they're cheering for you after you say a sentence.
I mean, it feels really good, to have that support, no matter how many people it is, out there. Just the fact that they're out there supporting us and happy for us, and proud of myself, proud of my team. It feels really good, and that's part of what drives us.
Thanks so much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Jonathan Lehman.
Hi, Betnijah. There was a sequence there at the end of the game where Agumbawale hit you in the mouth, and then you came back the other end, and there was another little, I think you got charged for a foul on her. seemed to be getting a little chippy. Do you think that you frustrated her over the course of the evening? And what do you think kind of emotions were coming out over the course of those two plays?
Um, Possibly, yeah. I think, she was frustrated, with the way the game was going and, with the score and everything. But I would like to think that it wasn't on purpose, it was just in the heat of the moment. But I'm just glad, as gritty as it got, that we were able to come out with the win.
Okay, thanks.
Howard Megdal.
Hey, Betnijah, congratulations on the win. Two kind of interrelated. One, when we were talking to Walter about the moments when you're looking up at the scoreboard and trying to calculate the time and score and what is necessary in order to win, was making that type of leadership decision something that you were doing? It's something that Walt has asked of you. Just, how does that come about for you, somebody on a new team?
He came to me and spoke to me about, what the team needed, and, that was leadership. And so for me to be able to give them that, and with me being a veteran on the team, I think it's just something that, came a little natural just for me to understand, time, situation, score and everything. And they're definitely in our ear about it. So it's, it's a two-way street.
But just related to that, this is something you've done, growing up throughout your collegiate career. You went to Vivian and said, I can get you the 10 rebounds you need back in school, but you haven't had this chance to do it in the pros. You haven't been in that opportunity until now. How sweet is that feeling to be able to finally show people that you're able to do this at the highest level?
I think it's really good. It's really good for me, going out there and to be able to lead them, but, also have my teammates respond to that. I'm happy, that it's that way. And I just want to continue to lead them at, to the best of my ability.
Thanks, Betnijah. Appreciate it.
Danny Barlavi.
Hi, Betnijah. I'm just wondering, having the defensive assignment on Enrique, obviously one of the more exciting young scorers of our league right now, does having a good defensive performance against a player like that fuel you on the offensive end at all?
Yeah, definitely. Being able to get stops or frustrate people and just, play good D, it definitely gets me going. I think especially with that being, what I'm known for, it feels really good to be able to get stops and stuff.
Thanks so much.
Miles Ehrlich.
Hey, Betnijah, great game today. On the second half of back-to-back, you leaned a lot more than you have earlier this season on the bench, and they really came through, and especially late in that second quarter, really helped turn the game around and sparked the team. Could you just talk a little bit about some of those performances from DD or from Beck or Jazz, and just how everyone did for you tonight?
They were great. They were definitely that spark that we needed, especially coming off of a back-to-back. And I think it just shows the depth that we have here in New York. And it's great to be able to count and lean on our bench the way that we do. And I think that will carry us a long way, because we don't have to have people playing all those minutes. We have people that are capable of coming in and making an impact and sustaining what's going on in the court. So I think that down the stretch that'll be really good for us.
Jeff Magliochetti.
Hi, Betnijah. Thank you for joining us again. Another great game from you. And I just wanted to ask, with three games in 3 cities in 4 days, what can you say about the conditioning of this team, and how can you best utilize these 4 days in terms of self-care and recovery?
It shows just how conditioned we are. To be able to sustain that and have the win, come out with the wins that we did. And I think that, over these next few days before our next game, we'll just, take the time to recover, just do all of the things. And, that's really good for us. Just the load management that we've had, with our trainers and everything, they've been taking really good care of us. And I think that showed, with the way that we're able to perform.
Wanted to go back to the bench a little bit to bounce off of Miles's question a little bit. Two in particular that stood out were Dee Richards and Jazz Jones. When it came to Dee in particular, I wanted to ask, when she dove on the floor at the end of the first half, from a player standpoint, the rest of the locker room, how did that change the course of this game, and how did it change the bench demeanor? What was the locker room like at halftime after that happened?
It definitely, gives us some momentum. It feels good to have those kind of plays. And, she's been great all year with that type of energy. This isn't the first time that Dee's, dove on the floor. Both of them have come off and given us sparks defensively. And, it's really good for us. And they get us going, when we may be, down or something, and for them to be able to come in and give us that spark, it's really good.
Appreciate your time and insight. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Betnijah. Next up, we have Sabrina Ionescu. Bruce Beck.
Sabrina, what is it like to roar out of the gate this year, both on an individual basis and on a team basis after what you went through last year?
It means a lot. Obviously, we wanted to start the season how, we knew that we could. And so I think it's awesome to see that it's showing. It's not taking a long time to build this. I think, all of us trust in this coaching staff, trust in each other. And obviously it's showing in the way that we're playing as a team and for one another. So it's been really awesome. But obviously we're not done yet. There's so many more games in front of us. And it's not only how you start, but it's how you finish as well.
Thank you.
Howard Mego.
Hey, Sabrina. Congratulations on the win. I see that there's a comparison to be made potentially between your Oregon team your senior year, which was the most efficient in the country, shot 39.5% from three, and this team, which is well over 40% so far. I'm wondering what you see as some similarities in terms of those offenses, and whether this team, which seems well stocked with shooters top to bottom in the way you guys were at Oregon, may be in a position to shoot this well for the entire season.
Yeah. Our offense enables all of us to be able to get good shots, good looks at the basket. And I think the more we continue to buy into that, the more that we continue to learn about one another, that's just going to continue to grow. And so, on nights that we're not shooting it extraordinarily well, there's other ways that we can score. And so obviously all of our guards and even our posts are shooting the ball really well. And just because they're rhythm shots. And so that's what we practice every single day, and we continue to practice. But yeah, it's always fun playing with teammates and, coaches that believe in you and teammates that can shoot the ball. And so I'm just excited. And obviously we're not even shooting it to the best of our ability yet. I think we all know that. And so we're just excited to continue to grow and continue to knock down shots.
And is there more spacing for those threes in a scenario where it's a true 5 out? I mean, obviously Ruthie was super efficient right around the rim, but does that change even the ability to be able to create more space and get those shots?
For sure. The 5 out spacing, it not only allows the big to shoot, but it also takes their big out of the paint. And so I think that helps us while we're driving. We have Betnijah, Sami, any of these players that are able to drive into the paint and kind of get the defense to collapse. And then for us to get kick out 3 opportunities is really what we're doing. And I think we're doing a great job of it. In games that we get stagnant, that's kind of our bread and butter of our offense, is just creating for others. And I think in turn, it creates for ourselves as well.
Thanks, Sabrina.
Caleb Thornton.
Hey Sabrina, congrats on the win. You came in the fourth quarter and had only taken 4 shots all game, but as soon as you came in, you hit a clutch 3 that meant a lot, and then you hit a and one mid range. Did you come in off the bench in that fourth quarter just thinking, I need to score to get my team going? Because it looked like the Dallas Wings were starting to come back a little bit, and I just want to know
I just wanted to come in ready. They were kind of chipping away at our lead and getting back into the game. And so, I didn't really want to allow that to happen. So I tried to do everything that I could and had a great kick out 3 opportunity, and then came off the pick and roll and had a mid range. So just was trying to stay aggressive, finish the game off the best that I could. And my coaches put me in that position and trusted me too as well. So obviously very thankful for them and my teammates, but we did everything we could, fought to the end to grind out a win. Obviously coming from a back-to-back is not easy. And so super proud of this team and what we've done tonight.
Jeff Magliochetti.
Hi, Sabrina. Thank you for joining us. Congratulations on another win. How inspiring is it from your standpoint to, when you're not having a quote-unquote Sabrina Ionescu night, that you have teammates that back you up and are able to sustain a lead while you rest up on the bench and come in for a crucial stretch at the end of the game?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, we went on a great run when I was out. Players like Jazz, like Didi, came off the bench and gave us a huge spark, and that's what we need. And I think that's something that our team has, is we have great depth in every single position. The depth at the wing spot, the point guard spot, the post spot. And so I think that's huge, and that's what we need from them. We need that spark off the bench. We need them to come in and play big time minutes and make big time plays, and that's what they did. And so it just goes to show how they're staying ready and always ready for the moment and for the opportunity. And ultimately, that's what helped us win this game.
Also, how big is it to come out of a back-to-back with 2 wins, but come out of the stretch with three games in 4 days in 3 cities, winning 2 of 3? And how can you best utilize these 4 days off?
I'm really looking forward to the 4 days that we don't have games right now. I think all of our bodies are, but I think it's just a testament. We are grinding out these wins, finding ways to win, and I think it just goes to show, like, we weren't fully rested. We weren't spending a bunch of hours on scout because we just didn't have time. We were on a flight late last night to get into here and play the next day. And so I think it just shows our team's IQ, our team's willingness to figure out what we got to do to win, and then on to the next one. And so I know everyone's super happy for this win, but we're definitely very excited for an off day tomorrow.
Well deserved. Thank you for your time and insight.
Yep. Thank you.
Jackie Powell.
Hey, Sabrina, good to see you. Congratulations on the win. I wanted to know from your perspective, about how Beck and Natasha are trying to get used to sort of how you guys do things. And what we're sort of seeing from them is they're working through the kinks, but they're finding different ways to contribute.
Yeah, ultimately, that's being a basketball player. Some nights the ball is not going to go in. You're going to be a little clueless on what we're running. This is Tasha's second time with us. And so, not knowing the plays, being a little bit out of sync, but at the end of the day, it's go make a play, go do something to help your team win. And that's what they've done extraordinarily well. Beck coming off of the bench and hitting shots, getting steals, getting blocks, being a defensive presence, and doing all the little things that ultimately help her and help us. And so it's great to see her playing the way she is and just getting more comfortable playing with us. And it's also great having Tosh back, and her presence just speaks for itself. I mean, the fact that she's able to put up those numbers and those little minutes that she had is crazy, and only her second time playing with us and even practicing with us. So we're just excited to get her back and start practicing and, getting familiar with her as she is with us.
Great. And I also wanted to know, you all sort of are on this mission to bring back gritty basketball to New York. And so I want to know, what do you see in Didi Richards when it comes to that New York grit?
She has it. She has a nose for the ball and she understands her role really well. And her role is not really something that you can teach. It's something that she just has inside of her that she wants to do anything she can to win. She's going to dive on the floor and get a loose ball. She's going to come in completely cold and get stops on defense and get rebounds and understand who she needs to get the ball to. And that's something that you can't really teach. And I think I've been realizing that the more that I've been around her and playing with her, and obviously going up against her in college, she was always, such a great defender and such a big presence. But now being on the same team as her, it's really awesome to see just how she's able to do these little things that make such huge impact in games. And so hats off to her. She's a great player and she's going to continue to get better. And I love being teammates with her.
Thanks so much, Sabrina. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Ben Rosoff.
Hey, Sabrina, two quick ones for you. You talked about that fourth quarter a little earlier. When Tosh goes down and when an opposing team is making a run like that to cut the lead, how important do you think is the ability to stay composed and stave off those runs to this team's growth, the young team like this one's growth? And how much do you kind of cherish those moments like that when the team really needs a basket, really needs to respond to a push, and as you did with that three-pointer in that end one?
Yeah, it's huge. We knew that they were going to give it everything they had to try it and make a push and win. And obviously they have great offensive weapons and they started hitting some shots. And so we just had to stay composed, weather the storm, kind of grind the clock out and let it run, take good shots, take our shots. And that's what we did. And so, great pass from like corner three. And I knew that I had to hit those shots. I obviously did not want the game to be longer than it was, partially because I was just really tired from the back-to-back. And so I think we were all doing everything that we could to finish the game off strong, and we did.
And then Walt talked about how you guys kind of needed to clean up the turnovers, kind of a problem yesterday, problem in the first half today. So only 2 in the second half today. Like, what were the adjustments made on that end?
Yeah, I think we're just a little sped up, and I think we've shown that in the past. And we just have to figure out, I think the more we get to know each other, the more we know who likes to cut, who likes the ball where. But also just taking ownership of the fact that that's something that we can't control. These teams aren't making us turn the ball over. We're making that pass a little too late or a little too long. And so that's something that we can control. We're going to keep working on. We go back, watch film, figure it out. But, we're smart enough to do so. And we will continue to get better in that category.